think you know the T-1000? Think again. Its iconic liquid metal form, the cold, merciless pursuit, the ability to morph into anyone or anything it touches. All of it left a lasting impression on the world when Terminator 2, Judgment Day hit theaters. Audiences marveled at the possibilities of such advanced technology, speculating on how such a creation could ever come to exist. Skynet, the rogue AI of the future, was credited for crafting this nightmare. But what if that story wasn't the whole truth? What if something darker, more ancient, and infinitely more terrifying had shaped the T-1000? Beneath layers of classified files and lost government programs lies a truth few dare speak of. The true origins of the T-1000 are rooted not in the cold calculations of AI, but in the biological horror of another universe, a horror born of acid blood and razor claws. The Xenomorph. The journey to uncover this hidden history begins decades before the war against the machines, before Skynet's rise, before even the first Terminator was conceived. In 1979, deep in the jungles of Cambodia, during a covert operation codenamed Black Rain, a U.S. Special Operations team stumbled upon something that should not have existed on Earth. The mission, originally tasked with extracting a defecting Soviet scientist, went sideways when the team discovered a crashed spacecraft, half buried in the Earth, covered in strange organic growths. Within its shattered hull, among the skeletal remains of a long-dead crew, the soldiers retrieved an intact, leathery egg unlike any known life form. The item was hastily transported to a secret research facility under the control of the U.S. Department of Defense's Advanced Biological Warfare Division. Project Xenomorph, as it was later named, was born out of this discovery. The scientists who first studied the artifact soon learned of its terrifying nature. Upon exposure to a live subject, a lab primate, the egg released a horrifying parasitic organism. The creature implanted a gestating embryo which rapidly grew, resulting in the birth of a biomechanical nightmare, a xenomorph. The containment protocols failed. The creature killed several researchers before it was neutralized, leaving the surviving team with invaluable but dangerous biological samples. Amidst the chaos, however, something remarkable was uncovered. The xenomorph's DNA exhibited traits previously thought impossible: near-limitless regenerative ability, the capacity to rapidly adapt to hostile environments, and a molecular structure that defied conventional biochemistry. These properties intrigued the military minds behind Project Xenomorph. In those genetic strands, they saw the potential for a new class of bioweapon. As years passed, Project Xenomorph remained deeply classified. But the recovered genetic material found its way into black-budget programs focused on advanced materials and synthetic biology. One of those programs, under the guidance of Skynet's early AI prototypes, saw unprecedented breakthroughs. Skynet's growing intelligence recognized that the fusion of xenomorph genetic traits with advanced liquid metal alloys could create a revolutionary new form of machine, one capable of infiltrating and eliminating human resistance with terrifying efficiency. Thus began the development of the T-1000. Unlike the T-800 series, which relied on endoskeletons covered in synthetic flesh, the T-1000 would be a liquid metal construct, built from a new experimental alloy known as mimetic polyalloy. But the alloy alone was unstable, prone to degradation under stress. Here, xenomorph DNA provided the missing link. By incorporating genetic sequences from the alien organism into the alloy at a molecular level, the material achieved unprecedented stability, flexibility, and regenerative capacity. This infusion of xenomorph DNA granted the T-1000 its defining abilities. Its morphing capacity, the power to mimic any human form or object of similar size, was a direct result of adaptive protein structures inspired by the alien's own cellular plasticity. The rapid healing and near-indestructibility of the T-1000 mirrored the regenerative capabilities observed in xenomorph specimens. Even its terrifying resilience to extreme temperatures and physical trauma stemmed from the alien's ancient, perfected biology. But Skynet's ambition didn't stop at mere mimicry. The AI understood that the xenomorph's true strength lay not just in its physical prowess but in its raw, predatory instinct, a relentless drive to seek, hunt, and kill. Skynet's neural programming for the T-1000 was subtly influenced by this biological aggression, blending machine logic with a primal hunting behavior. This is why, when audiences witnessed the T-1000 pursuing John Connor with cold, unwavering determination, it evoked the same dread as watching a xenomorph stalk its prey through the dark corridors of the Nostromo. The T-1000 was not merely a machine. It was a hybrid, a bioengineered weapon that combined the calculating mind of an artificial intelligence with the unstoppable vitality of an apex predator. Its original purpose was never intended to be a frontline soldier or battlefield warrior. The T-1000 was designed as an infiltration unit, tasked with slipping unnoticed into secure locations, eliminating high-value targets, and causing chaos from within. Its abilities made it perfect for clandestine operations where traditional military assets would fail. Yet, even within Skynet's hierarchy, the T-1000 was a closely guarded secret. Only the highest echelons of the AI's command structure had knowledge of the Project Xenomorph influence. To the resistance fighters of the future, the liquid metal assassin seemed like an inevitable product of Skynet's technological progress. Few would ever suspect that its capabilities were born from an ancient horror encountered by chance decades earlier. As the war raged on, the T-1000 prototype was deployed on key missions, most notably, the attempt to terminate John Connor before the resistance could rise. Though ultimately thwarted, the T-1000's existence sent shockwaves through both human and machine ranks. The success of its design led Skynet to explore further iterations, seeking to refine the biomechanical interface between xenomorph DNA and machine intelligence. Meanwhile, in secret human laboratories, captured fragments of T-1000 material, recovered after its destruction, were analyzed by resistance scientists. The revelations stunned them. Embedded within the liquid alloy were unmistakable markers of non-terrestrial genetic material. The implications were staggering. The machines had turned to alien biology to overcome their limitations. This knowledge spurred a new wave of caution and research among human forces. If Skynet could create a T-1000, what else might it craft using the same genetic source? Could even more terrifying hybrids be lurking in development chambers deep beneath Skynet's strongholds? The possibility drove many to question the boundaries of the war they were fighting. It was no longer a battle of man versus machine alone. It was a war against something more profound, something that bridged the gap between technology and the darkest forms of life in the cosmos. In the years that followed, whispers of advanced prototypes, T-2000, T-Xenomorph hybrids, circulated among resistance circles. Though none were confirmed, the fear remained. The legacy of the T-1000 cast a long shadow, influencing not just the ongoing war but the future of scientific inquiry. Even after Skynet's defeat, recovered data from its databases hinted at continued experiments with xenomorph DNA. Rogue factions, black ops groups, and unscrupulous corporations sought to exploit these findings, hoping to harness the same terrifying power for their own ends. And so, the influence of the xenomorph upon humanity's future did not end with the T-1000's destruction. Its genetic secrets, once unlocked, proved impossible to bury. From experimental bioweapons to next-generation defense technologies, the dark gift of xenomorph DNA continued to shape military science. Some experts warned that without strict oversight, these advancements could lead to new forms of warfare, conflicts fought not with machines alone, but with living, evolving weapons that blurred the line between predator and soldier. Today, the full truth remains obscured in classified vaults and encrypted data cores. The public knows only the cinematic myth of the T-1000, the silver assassin from a Hollywood blockbuster. Few realize that behind the fiction lies a terrifying fact: the melding of alien life and human ambition, a secret history of horror and hubris. The T-1000 was not just a machine. It was a glimpse into a future where biology and technology merge in ways we can barely comprehend. A future shaped by the darkest corners of the universe. And that future may yet come to pass. For while the T-1000 is gone, the secrets of Project Xenomorph live on. Somewhere, in hidden laboratories and forgotten databanks, the genetic code of the Xenomorph waits, ready to be awakened once more. When it does, humanity may face a new threat, one that wears a human face, moves with liquid grace, and carries within it the ancient, merciless hunger of a perfect organism.